Welcome back to No Limits. Today we're tackling financial literacy.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a
and
big one.
it is a big one. We've got a whole stack of articles and tips and advice, and we're going to try to boil it all down to
The essential.
the essentials, right?
Yeah.
Even if you think you've got the basics down, I think there's always something new to learn.
Oh, absolutely. It really affects all of us in a big way, no matter what we do or even how much money we make. It can be absolutely life-changing.
Absolutely.
We're not just talking about getting by. We're talking about real freedom and control.
That's right. Financial literacy is really that baseline for so many of the things that we want in our lives, whether it's just that dream vacation or a comfortable retirement.
Yeah,
And the really great thing is it's a skill anyone can develop.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these resources we're going to be looking at, they all start with the fundamentals, right? Budgeting and tracking those expenses, understanding needs versus wants.
Right.
Classic advice.
Mhm.
But what I found really interesting is they don't just tell you to do it, they explain why it matters.
Exactly. One of the articles really highlighted the study, and it found that people who budget regularly actually report lower levels of stress. So it's not just about the numbers, it's about having that plan, that feeling of control over your money.
Right. It's like when I finally took the time to clean out my closet,
Mm-hmm.
suddenly everything felt calmer, more organized. Like who knew my wardrobe could have such an impact on my mental state?
Right.
Maybe there's a connection there.
I think you might be onto something.
Yeah.
And this idea of being in control is so powerful when it comes to financial decisions. There's another really interesting concept that was in a few of these sources, and it's lifestyle inflation. As our income grows, our spending has this tendency to creep up with it.
Oh, tell me about it. Like I remember when I got my first real promotion and suddenly it was like I needed that fancy coffee maker.
Yeah.
Now looking back, did I really need it? Probably not.
Probably not.
But it felt so justified at the time.
That's the thing about lifestyle inflation. It happens so subtly.
Mhm.
And a lot of times you don't realize it's happening. One of the articles had a great tip. Pretend that raise never happened. Live on your previous budget, take the extra, and put it towards savings and investments.
Ooh, I like that. So we talked about controlling spending. Now let's talk about making our money work for us. I gotta admit, the concept of compound interest still kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, it's like free money.
It's as close as you can get to free money.
Right.
These resources really break down how consistent saving and investing, even small amounts, can lead to significant wealth over time.
Yeah. One of the examples I saw, they said, if you start investing just $100 a month at age 25
Wow.
and earn an average return of 7%, by the time you're 65, you'd have over $280,000.
That's right.
Now imagine if you could bump that up to like $200 or even $500 a month. Those numbers get really exciting.
Absolutely. And speaking of exciting, let's talk about these different savings and investment accounts.
Okay.
I know that you mentioned that you were curious about 401ks and IRAs.
Yeah, those terms always get thrown around, but I've never really understood the difference. Are they both just for retirement?
They are both designed for retirement savings, but they have some key distinctions.
Okay.
Your sources do a really good job of explaining those differences.
Okay. Break it down for me. What are those key differences?
Well, a 401k is something that is offered through your employer,
Okay.
and it often comes with employer matching. So that's essentially free money.
Hold up. Free money. Tell me more about employer matching.
So your employer will contribute a certain percentage of your salary to your 401k, up to a certain limit. So it's like this amazing benefit, and if you're offered it, you should absolutely take advantage of it.
Okay, that's a huge incentive. So what about IRAs then?
IRAs are individual retirement accounts that
Yeah.
you open on your own, and they give you more control over your investments. And those come in two main flavors, traditional and Roth.
See, this is where I start to get lost.
Yeah.
Traditional versus Roth. What's the difference? And which one is better?
It really depends on your personal circumstances and your financial goals.
Mm-hmm.
A traditional IRA allows you to deduct your contributions from your taxes now,
Okay.
but you will have to pay taxes on that money when you withdraw it in retirement.
Gotcha.
A Roth IRA, on the other hand, doesn't offer that upfront tax drop, but your withdrawals in retirement are tax-free.
So with a Roth IRA, I'm paying taxes now, but my money is growing tax-free, and I don't have to worry about taxes when I retire.
Right.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it can be a great option, especially if you expect to be in a higher tax bracket in retirement.
Okay.
The sources also really emphasize starting early, no matter which type of account you choose.
Right, right. Because of that whole compound interest magic that we talked about.
Exactly. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. Even if you can only contribute a small amount now, it's really crucial to establish that habit early on.
This is really starting to make a lot more sense.
Good.
I'm actually feeling kind of empowered, like I can finally take control of my financial future.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's talk about debt. It's a reality for a lot of us,
It is.
and it can be a big hurdle in achieving our financial goals.
Ugh. Debt is something I've definitely struggled with. It can feel so overwhelming, like you're always playing catch up. What are some strategies for tackling that beast?
Well, your sources offer some really good advice.
Okay.
One strategy is called the debt snowball method, where you focus on paying off your smallest debts first,
Regardless of interest rate.
regardless of interest rate. And this can help you create some momentum, a sense of accomplishment that can keep you motivated.
I like that. It's like checking those smaller items off your to-do list.
Exactly.
It gives you that boost to keep going.
Absolutely.
So you feel like you're making progress.
Exactly. Another popular method is called the debt avalanche method.
Okay.
And with this one, you prioritize the debts with the highest interest rates first. And this approach can save you money in the long run.
So it's about finding the approach that works best for you, right?
Absolutely.
Whether it's snowballing for motivation or avalanche for maximizing those savings.
Exactly. The key is to have a plan and to be consistent with your payments. And of course, avoiding high interest debt like credit cards as much as possible.
Right, right. Speaking of credit cards, one of these articles really opened my eyes to the importance of understanding your credit score. It's not just about getting approved for loans. It affects everything from your insurance premiums to even rental applications.
It's true. Your credit score is like this financial report card that lenders and other institutions use to really assess your creditworthiness. The higher your score, the more favorable terms you're going to qualify for.
Okay.
And that can save you a lot of money over time.
So building good credit is really crucial. How do we even go about doing that?
Well, your sources have some helpful tips.
Okay.
Pay your bills on time, keep your credit utilization low, and avoid opening too many new accounts all at once.
Okay, so it's all about being responsible.
Right, demonstrating responsible credit behavior.
Okay, I am taking notes on this.
Good.
It's amazing how much there is to learn about personal finance.
Yeah,
And I feel like we've only just scratched the surface here.
we have, but don't worry, there's much more to uncover.
Good, because I'm ready to keep diving in.
So far, we've covered the fundamentals of budgeting, saving, investing, and managing debt. But financial literacy goes beyond these core concepts.
Okay.
It's like this whole hidden world of financial tools and strategies that most people just aren't even aware of.
Right. I mean, it's like there's this secret club,
Mhm.
and we're finally getting a peek inside.
Exactly.
I'm excited to see what else is in there. So where do we go from here?
Well, let's talk about negotiating bills and subscriptions. One of your sources really digs into this. I have to admit, I never realized how much money you can save just by asking for a better rate.
You know what? I've always been kind of intimidated by negotiating. Yeah. It always feels a little confrontational. Any tips for making that process a little easier?
Absolutely. One of the articles had this great framework for negotiating. It said, prepare your talking points beforehand, be polite but firm, and don't be afraid to walk away if you're not getting what you want.
Okay.
And they even included sample scripts you can use.
That's incredibly helpful. It's like having a cheat sheet for being an adult.
It is, it is. And speaking of cheat sheets, let's talk about those financial apps everybody is always raving about.
Okay.
There's literally an app for just about everything these days. They break them down into different categories: budgeting apps, investment trackers, robo-advisors, even micro-investing platforms. They also highlight a few specific apps that are known for being user-friendly and secure.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
have to check those out. I love the idea of having all of my financial information at my fingertips. It's like having a personal finance command center.
Right, in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right. But while technology can be incredibly empowering, it's important to be aware of the risks involved. You know, fraud and identity theft are becoming more and more common these days.
It's really scary how sophisticated some of these scams are getting. I read about this one case where they were able to drain somebody's entire bank account just by knowing their phone number.
Wow. Well, that's why it's really important to be proactive about protecting your information. One of the resources emphasizes using strong passwords, enabling two-factor authentication, and regularly monitoring your accounts for suspicious activity.
So it's like a security checklist. Strong passwords, two-factor authentication, monitor those accounts. Got it.
Yep.
Now, what about insurance? It's one of those things I know I need, but it's always felt kind of confusing to me.
It's a common feeling. One of the sources actually broke down the different types of insurance, health, auto, life, in a way that I think you'll find really easy to understand.
Okay.
They also emphasize the importance of having enough coverage
Yeah.
to protect yourself and your loved ones from those unexpected events.
It's all about having that safety net,
Exactly.
knowing you're prepared no matter what.
They also provided a framework for how you can assess your insurance needs based on your age, your lifestyle, and your financial goals.
Okay, so we've talked about technology, security, and insurance. It's amazing how much there is to consider.
One really important aspect that often gets overlooked is organization. Having a system for tracking your financial documents is essential.
Well, you mean like tax forms, bank statements, insurance policies, all that fun stuff.
All of that. One of your sources actually recommends creating a secure filing system, either physical or digital, and regularly updating it as needed. They even provided a checklist of essential documents everyone should have organized.
Wow, this is so helpful. I'll admit, my financial documents are kind of scattered across various drawers and folders right now.
Okay.
Maybe a little organization is in order.
Maybe just a little. And while we're on the topic of planning for the future, there's another important area to discuss: estate planning.
Okay, estate planning. That always sounds kind of intense, like something I should worry about when I'm older, right?
But that's a common misconception, actually. One of your sources emphasized that estate planning isn't just for the wealthy or the elderly.
Okay.
It's about making sure your wishes are followed and providing for your loved ones, no matter how old you are or your financial situation.
So it's really about taking control and having a plan in place for the future.
Exactly. Estate planning typically involves creating documents, things like a will, a living trust, and a power of attorney. These documents designate your beneficiaries, they outline your healthcare wishes, and they make sure that your assets are managed according to your instructions.
Wow, I never realized how much was involved in estate planning. It's definitely something I need to learn more about.
Your sources give a great overview of the different aspects of estate planning, and they even recommend talking to an estate planning attorney to create a plan that fits your needs.
Okay, so far we've covered budgeting, saving, investing, managing debt, using financial tools, protecting ourselves from fraud, understanding insurance, organizing financial documents, and even estate planning. My brain is about to explode with all this information.
It is a lot to take in, I know. But the key takeaway is that financial literacy isn't about reaching some destination, it's a journey.
So it's not about mastering everything overnight. It's about continuous learning, adapting, and refining our approach to money throughout our lives.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important point that your sources highlight: the importance of ongoing education and seeking guidance when we need it.
Yeah, just like any skill, right? We have to keep learning, keep practicing, keep staying up to date with new trends.
Absolutely. Your sources recommend several resources, including books, online courses, podcasts, and even working with a financial advisor for personalized guidance.
It's about finding what works best for you and your learning style.
Exactly.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
That's right.
There are so many people out there who are really passionate about this and are happy to share their knowledge and experience.
Building a network of like-minded people can be so helpful. Whether through online communities or workshops, you can really find invaluable support and motivation.
But there's this one theme that just keeps coming up: taking control.
Taking control, yeah.
Yeah, it's about making informed choices, setting those clear goals, and really building a financial future that aligns with our values and aspirations.
That's beautifully said,
Aw, thanks.
really. Financial literacy it's not just about the numbers. It's about empowerment, it's about freedom, and it's about having the ability to live life on our own terms.
And the best part is it's never too late to start, right?
Absolutely.
Whether you're just beginning that financial journey or maybe you're looking to level up your skills, there's always something new to learn.
One of your sources emphasized that we should reassess our financial goals and plans regularly.
Okay.
Because, life is constantly changing.
Right.
Our financial strategies should kind of adapt along with it.
Like checking in with yourself, right?
Exactly.
Are my habits still serving me?
Yeah.
Are goals still aligned with what I'm trying to do?
Absolutely. It's about being proactive and making those adjustments as we go.
So to our listener out there, I encourage you to really think about your own financial habits and identify just one small step, one small thing you can do today to move closer to your goals. Maybe it's creating that budget. Maybe it's setting up an automatic savings transfer, or even just reading one more article about investing.
Every journey starts with that first step.
That's right.
And remember, you have the power to shape your own financial future.
And if you're feeling inspired to explore other aspects of well-being, join us next time.
We hope you've enjoyed it.
Thanks for joining us.
See you then.